in the tail end of winter. And let me start actually with this thing that I've seen for the last couple of years. It's not new, I'm pretty sure, but I don't know what this phenomenon is called. Now, I've noticed when I've taken pictures of evergreen trees with the sun behind them, as in I'm taking the pictures looking through the evergreen trees at the sun, you see the circular pattern almost. Yeah, I don't know if you could see it. It looks like spider web, like cobwebs, but it's not. It's just the evergreen trees. And it creates a circular pattern with the sun at its back, behind it. I don't know what this is called, but I think it's interesting. And I've noticed it for a number of years. I actually haven't searched hard enough, but I really think it's interesting. You can see the circular pattern and it gets wider and wider and wider. Nature is remarkable, I tell you. Very remarkable. Don't know if it's worth framing. I wouldn't frame this picture or print it out, but it's interesting to look at. All right, so the ones that I think are cool, this one I wanted to take of, I like how this bit of the evergreen was just hanging out in the sun. But what would I have done differently? There are too many distracting elements, I think. First, there's a bunch of things in the foreground, and there's this rock that looks like it could be interesting, but there's nothing on it. Then there's this little bit here hanging off a piece of stick. There's just too much going on. I'm still working on that. And if there was a bird here or something, then it would make it even more interesting. But actually make it worth taking a picture of. But right now, as I look at this, in hindsight, I could have cropped in a little bit more. Maybe like that. Let me see what that looks like. Yeah, that's way better. Now, what lens was this, I wonder? This is the 70 to 350. I like this lens because it has a lot of range on it, so I can zoom in and zoom out. And this is at the very end of its zoom range. Here, 350. And it was a bright day, so I had, I just used ISO 200. Not a particularly sharp lens, but good enough. All right, so that's not too bad. Not too bad. What else could I have done with this one here? Let me go back. Yeah, that's good. Let me see what else we can do. If we put a mask on here for the green, and then raise the saturation a little bit, and then raise let's do some clarity on it. And then we don't need the exposure, but let's drop the shadows with them, the blacks, and increase the contrast. All right, and then can we select the background on here? Let's see if we can. Will it let me select the background? It does. That's crazy. All right, let's raise the contrast a little bit. Let's raise the shadows maybe. Let's raise it all the way. No, yes, that's good. Raise the shadows. Raise the exposure. What does that do? Oh my god, actually looks better. That looks way better. That looks way better, I think. Let's drop the blacks. Wait. We got some color fringing here, maybe? Or it's just at the background. Let's see if we can remove that. Let's remove color aberration. That would be here. Remove chromatic aberration. Does it work? Not really. Not really. Not really. Okay, let's see before and after. That's before, that's after. I don't know. There's just too much going on in this picture, in my view. This is better. All right, next one. This is a huge rock, actually. Enormous rock on the other side of the pond. And I liked how there was almost a perfect reflection in the water. The water was so still that day. It was so cold. But it was beautiful. Let's see what we can do with auto exposure. And according to this histogram, it's nicely balanced as far as exposure. Now, there are still a lot of distracting elements in here. For example, this utility pole here in the back is unnecessary. What would I have done differently? Maybe crop out this bit, or just step a little bit to my left to get less of this of the foreground, you know, kind of like that. Maybe let me see what that looks like. Yeah, it's actually not too bad. Maybe the utility pole gives it scale, I don't know. Let's see. So that's auto exposure. It's actually not too bad. And then actually I kind of like that. I wouldn't do much with that at all. What about, so we already looked at these I already looked at these pictures. All right, this one I liked. It was on the path. I got lower down to the ground, and I liked how the trees were being projected by the sun onto the path. I took a similar picture like this last year, and in another country. This is pretty cool. Yeah, I saw a similar picture like this in where the hell was it? Iceland, I think. I don't remember. In any case, this is not uncommon if you're walking along the path, but I think it's beautiful. I really do think it's beautiful. So let's put a color mask on here for the green, for the evergreens, and then let's make that a little bit greener. Let's do one for the brown, make that a little bit browner. Okay, let's increase the contrast a little bit, drop the shadows, and then we can tone down the saturation a little bit, please. Okay, that's not too bad. And then I think that looks pretty good, you know. Let's do, no, I think that looks pretty good. Let's see before and after. That's before, that's after, before, after. We can do more with the blue in the sky. So let's do one for the blue in the sky, if it would allow me. Let's use this spot. Ugh, it looks like it's gonna mess with the tree branches. No, maybe not. Okay. All right, so let's see before and after. No, before, after, before, after. Actually, that's not too bad. Not too bad at all. All right, and this is a similar picture. So I won't bother editing this one. This is just from a higher perspective. So this is lower down. And this one was without, I think the sun had gone down or there was cloud cover. So I don't like this picture too much. I think I was just coming around the corner. I think this spot is around the corner from here. I think, I don't remember. In any case, I prefer these pictures and this one. But let's see what we can do with the color, the auto editing feature here. This is not too bad as far as what it did, but the composition is garbage. There's nothing here to focus on. At least this one, in my view, it's clear that the intent is to show the shadows being projected onto the path. This one, I didn't do a good enough job of making clear what the subject is. All right. This one, it was clear that this, at least to me, the intent was to focus on this tree here. But it doesn't have enough striking features, or I didn't do a good enough job of making sure it was the subject of the image. Now it could be that I could have cropped a little bit more this way to get less of the height of the tree, or just gone in closer. Maybe just gone in closer. Let's take the highlights down a little bit. And then let's see if we can do something with the green in the background. Let's do this one, and let's do saturation and contrast, drop shadows, okay. And then let's do one for these leaves. Now these leaves in particular, I like them because right throughout the winter, they stay there. And then the tree just regrows, which is pretty cool. And let's drop the highlights on this. And let's see, original. Okay, not that much better. Just cropped in a little more green. All right, and this one was, actually, right at the spot, I just turned a little bit to the right. And I liked how the path turned this way, but nothing is interesting about this picture now that I look at it. But I snapped it anyways. And this one I took, what immediately struck me when I walked up to this was the green moss, I think this is, on the trees. But there's nothing here that makes it a subject, at least not in my view. There's just too much going on. There's this interesting tree, and there's this one coming across, and this one going down, and this one going down. Okay, it kind of looks like a frame, I guess, this way, but there's nothing in here. I don't know. Maybe if someone was sitting on it, there was a bird, or there was something in here. I don't know. Maybe. In any case, let's see what we can do. Let's do contrast for sure. And let's select a mask for the color. And let's see if we can raise the saturation a little bit. And the contrast. And the shadows will drop, blacks will drop. Let's see before and after, before, after. Okay, that's not too bad. Let's put one for the evergreen in the background. And then we'll do contrast, blacks, shadows. Let's see before, after. I might have gone too far with that one. I might have gone too far with that one. So let's put this back. Let's put that back to how it was. Drop the contrast a little bit. Yeah, I might have gone too far with that one. So let's do the same. And then let's see before and after, before, after, before, after. Okay, not too bad, not great. Overexposure back here for sure, but all right. This one I liked because it's a reflection shot, and it's almost like the trees were bending progressively towards the water. But it looked more interesting in person. What I could have done differently was include more of the tree, the branches this way on the right, and less of this tree over here, which is not necessary. Even if I try to crop it right now, maybe I could have even gone down lower, gone down a little bit lower. So stoop down lower. Instead of, right now it looks like I'm shooting down towards the water. I should have been shooting across. Lazy work. All right, and the last one was of this tree that was cut down. So quite often these trees fall in the path, and the people who take care of the park just cut right into it. And it's interesting to walk by them. I don't mind them at all. And one of the things that we do when we're walking by, my kid and I, we like to see how smooth these bits are. And just to admire how nature is. You can call it the rings. But let's see what we can do with the color here. That's actually not too bad. And then what else would we do? We could adjust the contrast a little bit. You can see the sunset. Sun is setting back here. We could leave the shadows where it was actually. And then there's not a lot of color in here really. I mean, technically we could make this color in the middle of the tree more saturated. Let's try it. Let's add a color range and then make it a little bit more saturated. Okay, that's less saturated, more saturated. That's good. Just a little bit, I guess. And then we could contrast and then shadows. And then we could do sharpness, noise reduction. It's not too bad. Let's see before and after. Before, after. It's not too bad. What would I have done differently? I don't know. I know I wanted this part of the branch to be the subject of it. And I didn't want to just zoom in all the way like this. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. Not crazy. Doesn't look too bad. But then why? Why? I don't know why I do that. All right. I kind of like it as it is. I do. I kind of like it. All right, and that's the end of these pictures. Get out there, keep taking pictures. Doesn't matter what camera you have. It's a lot of fun, man. Take it easy.